Yo, I love studying the Bible in the morning. It stimulates my brain so much. I love studying the Bible in the morning. It has so many beautiful symbols in it. So I'm about to break it down, break it down. We actually got the advantage. Being at the lowest place in the universe, we got the advantage. It says in the Tao Te Ching, the ocean, everything flows into the ocean because it's the lowest point. So the lowest point always gets all of the benefit. It's so funny though. It's just so funny. Okay, let's look at this. So we're gonna do forbidden teachings of the Bible. That's what we're about to go over. Forbidden teachings of the Bible. Why is it forbidden? Because in the mystery schools, this was hidden from people in mystery, in a mystery and encoded in mystery, because you have to be a seeker for knowledge. So the people who made this book and created and compiled the book that is the Bible understood that a person has to actually work for secrets, or they don't get revealed. Unless somebody really studies. I can tell you the answers, for instance, like right now. I could tell you some answers and tell you what things are, but until you unpack it for yourself, there is legitimately no way you can receive the teaching. That's what's so beautiful about the teaching. The teaching is reserved for the seekers. If you're not wanting to seek, if you're not really looking, you actually can't get the teaching. So that's why it can be an open secret. The Bible, this Bible, is an open secret.
You gotta turn your lamp off and flip your screen.
Turn that lamp off, flip that screen. Yes. Production team. Baby, you the production team. No, I'm the production team. Who gonna be the production? You the production team right now, at least. We are a team. Just a team. Listen to that. So, we're gonna talk about the secret teachings. Now, if you are not a seeker, or you're not a thinker, or you're not interested in this is not going to resonate. You won't be able to understand anything that's going on. But if this does resonate, and this is for you, you're going to understand everything that's happening. Okay? This is forbidden. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This is the lineage of Noah. Does anybody know who Noah is in the Bible? What do y'all know about Noah? Tell me what you know about Noah in the Bible. What y'all know about Noah in the Bible? How many people know that Noah was the flood man who brought on the flood? This is his children. These are his children. Now, while I was studying the book, this is what I found out about it. Shem represents essentially your I amness. Because Shem is the nature of God. Nature of God in the Bible is known as I amness. Ham represents, let me make sure, it's so funny that this is true. Ham represents the mind. I'm going to use blue. Ham represents the mind. Not just represents, but when you translate the word in the Hebrew gematria, it actually breaks down to mind and brain. Those are two different things. The mind is the mind and the brain is the brain. The brain is the vehicle for the mind. But in gematria, both are associated with the word Ham. Japheth is known as the completion. also means opening. So it's completion and opening, which means it's the end and it's the beginning of growth. So what's the point of this? When you look at these three words, it shows you how manifestation works. And then once you break down the story of the Bible, it also shows you how manifestation works over time. Shem, this is who you are. When you say I am, that's God. So Shem is the name of God. It's actually God. I am. This is you. So let me make sure that it's clear. It's God, it's I am, and it's you. This is who you are. This is completion and an opening. So this is the gateway between death and life. This is where stuff comes alive. You know, a seed breaks apart, that acorn breaks, and then the tree grows. But it has to die and complete itself to open up to something new. So this is completion and an opening. Then this is the mind and the brain, Ham. Now in the story, Ham sees Noah naked. Okay, Ham, the son of Noah, Noah gets drunk, passes out in a tent, and Ham goes out and finds Noah passed out naked. He turns around and goes to tell his other two brothers. So his other two brothers, they walk backwards like this in the story. They walk backwards with a cloth and lay a cloth over without looking at Noah and covers him over. Noah wakes up and he hears what has happened. He finds out Ham has seen him naked. Now this parallels when you put he is together. I don't know. When he sees Ham, now mind you, Ham is mind and brain. This parallels a story in Genesis, early Genesis with Adam and Eve. So if you remember, Adam, the first thing he realized once he ate from the tree of knowledge and good and evil is, it means hot, but it also, if you look at the numerical association with Ham, it means brain. The other words that are associated with Ham, it means brain. So look at the other ones that are associated with the number. So you are right about that. So the number is 48. I forgot what the word is because I just looked it up. But it's 48. This is 480. That's the numerical association with that. And this is 340. So you can look up words associated with Ham. Okay, so you're right about that. But mind and brain is, when it looks at Ham, when you look at it from a mental perspective, understand this. Mind and brain, hot, fertilization, heating it up, warming it up. That is what the brain does to thoughts. It heats them up, warms them up until they hatch. So that would mean complete themselves. They hatch. That means they end, and it opens up manifesting. It opens up manifestation. This is who you are. Your mind and your brain heat up thoughts or ideas about yourself in the world, meaning heat them up till they hatch and become an opening and a belief. And this opening creates growth. That growth becomes your physical world. The law of growth takes over from here. But this is involution, and then from the point that it completes, it's evolution. So when you see Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they laid a cloth over Noah, and it parallels Adam. Adam saw himself as naked in the Garden of Eden. God comes in and says, how do you know you're naked? Did you eat from the tree of knowledge and good and evil? Implying that him seeing himself and knowing he's naked is his recognition of evil for the first time. Well, this is what Ham does. Ham sees Noah naked, implying that this aspect, which is associated with mind and brain, or heat, hot, and warmth, associated with that, he saw Noah naked. So think about this. The mind or the brain has now contracted evil. The mind and the brain has now contracted evil. Now, what is evil? Evil is not the devil poking his horns out. Evil is the perception and belief that there is a power in evil. There is evil power. Perceiving that the devil has power and God has power is the belief in two powers, and that is the evil. The evil is the belief, the false belief in two powers. Because what happens is, if your mind believes that evil is a power in itself, it's not. But since the mind is power itself, it creates the evil. So there is no real evil in your life. All it is your belief in evil creating whatever you're believing in and whatever you're seeing. So ham means to heat it up, to warm it up, to fertilize. This is your brain. This is your mind. When your mind holds thoughts of destitution, meaning you broke, if your mind stays on that, then you heat it up, you warm it up, you fertilize it until it hatches. And then that's what hatches into your world over and over and over and over again. Now, here's the next part of the story. Ham, seeing Noah naked, he gets cursed. Actually, his son gets cursed. Now, his son, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to erase this. His son gets cursed. His son is Canaan. That's his son's name. Canaan gets cursed. Now, when you look up Canaan in the Bible, Canaan is known as the lowliest. So Canaan equals, and the definition of it is lowliest and the humblest. The lowest and the humble. It's the lowest life forms. What that is in respect to who we are, this is the I am. Let's draw the golden funnel. This is I am. This here is the mind or the warmth. Okay? And the last one is, and this is where it hatches and grows. So we can say this is where it hatches and grows. This is the mind. So this would be, we could call this is the mind and warmth. And this one here is completion. This is where it gets done. Now, what manifests from that is the physical. What manifests from that is the physical. It's your physical existence. What you get in your physical existence manifests from, and this is the lowest, by the way, the lowest and humblest. It's the people who are idolaters. These people who are idolaters are cut off from anything spiritual. Everything above here is spiritual. When we are on earth walking as just physical beings, believing in physicality, only in our physical circumstances, only in our absence of the relationship we want, looking at the situation around us, then we are lost. And what we do as a people, and you see this right now, when you look at money as the source of income or the source of power, you're making money an idol, because money is actually a medium of exchange. No, this is absolutely the Bible. The Bible is signs, symbols, and allegories. The allegory is this. I am is Shem. When you look up the Hebrew translation of Shem, Shem means name, renowned, fame, closely associated with the name of God. God's name is I am, as announced in the Bible. That's biblical. Now, Ham means hot, warmth, implying passion, intensity, and fertility. Where do things go before they come into the world? They have to go into your mind. So really, this whole thing, we could say, here within this circle, this is the mind. It goes into your subconscious mind to get fertilized. So this whole thing here, we could say is Ham. Okay? Japheth is expansion, enlargement, beauty, to open, to spread out, and to complete. Exactly. As a metaphor. Now, what expands? This is the subconscious mind, Ham. This is where things get warmed up and heated up. It's desire. You could call it also desire. Because the desire for something heats it up. And then where does it expand? It expands in your mind. It expands in your thoughts. Okay? It expands in your consciousness. It expands in your why. It expands in your feelings. It expands in your emotion. And then it also expands into the world. So this is where expansion. It expands. Now, the physical person, when you look at Canaan and what Canaan is in the Bible, Canaan, you could call this is Canaan. By the way, this one is Japheth. This is Japheth, expansion. And then here is Canaan. Canaan is the lowest. We are at the lowest point in the universe. Okay? I agree. It should be churches where you could go and understand this. And that's what we want here. That's what we really creating here. I believe that. But you see Canaan. Now, Canaan is known to be the one who inherits the benefits. Okay? It ends up being the promised land that the Israelites go into. It's Canaan. Before the Israelites enter into the land of Canaan, the land of Canaan is a land of idolatry. Where is that? This is representing earth. Let me just pull out a green so it can represent earth. So you see that. This is earth. It's the lowest place in the universe. It's the lowest. It's the most ignorant. This is Canaan. Okay, it's earth. It's the lowest. It's the most ignorant. But it's destined to be the inheritance, to get the inheritance of God. It's the inheritance of the infinite. It's the inheritance of the beauty, the life. It's inheritance. Think about this. Now, guess what? Ham and Canaan are associated. Ham is the father of Canaan. Desire, you're warming it up, your subconscious, your desire, your demeanor, your desire is the birth and births Canaan, the physical world. What this is symbolic for is what's going on inside of your own mind. Whatever you think in your mind becomes the physical reality. You can have a situation right now that you don't want. And if, like Neville Goddard says, if you can close your eyes to the physical world and dwell within in a world you created on your own, that implies that you've succeeded and overcome the physical. Eventually, because Canaan is a slave, he has to obey you. He has to obey the physical man, and the physical circumstances and the physical situations have to change to match what's going on in heaven, to match what's going on in your being, to match what's going on in your desire, and to match what's going on in what you feel is complete and done. It has to match that, because Canaan in the Bible is cursed to be a slave to Shem and Japheth. Ham still has his position. Ham still has his position. But his son is a slave. Now, what does a slave do? A slave does anything the master tells him to do. How do you overcome the intrusive negative thoughts that emerge from birth? That's a good question. That's a good question. Because intrusive thoughts do come to you automatically. You don't have to try. Okay? You don't have to try. How do you overcome that? According to the Bible, according to the formula, the only way to overcome that is to get a sound mind. And you have to go to the place a sound mind originates. So Shem is known as the name of God. Japheth is expansion, enlargement, beauty, to open, to spread out, to complete. What does it mean? It just means you have to go upwards into who you really are. You have to go within. How do you do that? You have to go over the bridge of intelligence. So another word, so I was looking at this. Another word for another word that was really emphasized was the bridge of intellect. So later on in the Bible, you have these three. These three is Arphaxad, Shelah, and Eber. Comes from the Shem family, which is the family of I amness. This is really the most powerful family. This is the most powerful family. What the symbology behind it is, it's a transition that needs to be made. So first you have to transition, start the transition. That's the doorway here. Then you have to be at rest. This is the middle path. And then Eber is one who's passed through and crossed over across the rivers and boundaries. You want to cross over the boundaries. So you asking to do that. And that's a formula in the Bible. How do you do that? The way you do that is, first, you have to realize you in hell. How do you cross any bridge? You got to first realize you in hell. You have to dislike where you are so badly that you actually get started to go in another direction. So you got two worlds, you got heaven and hell. So here you are. Let's just say you are here. Okay? You are in hell. You realize you in hell and you want to go over to heaven. Heaven is not a place in the sky, it's a mental state of consciousness. Okay? It's a mental state of consciousness. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get rid of these intrusive thoughts. Okay, where are the intrusive thoughts attached to? It's attached to your body. Your body is the place that houses all of the negative thoughts. It's your carnal desires. That's where your negative thoughts come from. It's the things that people have spoken into your spirit that have become physically a part of your body. Okay? So you have to go from here to heaven. Well, in the Bible, it says that heaven is within. So this is outside. Over here is outside. Over here is inside. The place where your riches are stored is stored in heaven. So you have to go into your own consciousness. If you don't go into your own consciousness and you don't go within and do some soul searching, then you will always be in hell. You will feel like you're in hell all the time. Why? Because you are focusing your attention outside in your body, the fearful body, the body that's scared to die. is scared to get old, is scared of criticism, is scared of what people think about it because it's a conceptual reality that does not really exist. So you have to go on the bridge to go from body to heaven, which is pure consciousness. What is that bridge? Here's the bridge. The bridge is intellect. It is intellect. It is your mind. It says, be ye renewed, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. So you need to feed your intellect and your mind different things. This is how you walk across the bridge from the physical to the spiritual invisible. You have to actually study and you have to study and practice. Okay? How do you do that? Now, I'm gonna be real. I was talking to Alicia yesterday about this. I literally went and basically did a science experiment. I'm a mental scientist. My mom believed in Christianity so deeply, but she was totally delusional. So I couldn't believe her because she was delusional. She would lie about hell. She thought hellfire would burn her and I was going to burn forever. And she gave all of this fear about hell and all of these different things about the Bible that she didn't even really know. And I distrusted everything she said and everything Christian said. But the problem was my grandma gave me real experiences that some invisible intelligence actually exists and works on our behalf if we learn how to pray correctly. And she got results. So the problem was my mom is over here just lying and telling herself whatever she's telling herself. And I don't think she was lying on purpose. She was just saying whatever she learned from other people. I just knew that it was false. It wasn't sincere to me. And here's my grandma over here showing me, no, it's actually real. So I'm torn. So me as I got very logical at an early age. My mom was Christian. My dad was Muslim. So here we are. My mom is delusional. My grandma, she got some sanity the way she's dealing with God. Okay. She's getting results. My dad's Muslim, totally different religion. My mom's Christian. So now I get to see the division between these two. And I'm like, these are basically the same, but there are tiny differences. But we're arguing totally over the things that are different, the little tiny differences. Couldn't understand it. So all my life, I became a scientist. I had to prove this wrong. So I said, if I'm going to be accurate and unbiased, I have to prove that there is no God. In order to prove it is no God, and in order to prove this Bible is wrong, I got to follow it to the T. And if I follow it to the T and it does not work, then I can say that it doesn't work. Here's the issue. What happened was I started applying the Bible and it never failed me. Okay, that was the issue. And I've been doing that my whole life. I've been testing it. And I even tested the opposite of what the Bible says. The Bible says faith without deeds is dead. Yeah, it proved it. So I don't have a doubt. I proved it to myself. So it says faith without deeds is dead. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try not to do any deeds and see if I can create success and create stuff in the world. You can't do it. You actually have to give to other people in order to receive back. So it was these principles that I realized. And I said, hold on. This is actually real. I can't deny this. I tried to deny it for a great portion of my life. And I said to myself, if I find out the actual truth from however long that takes me, once I get to the point where I can prove it to myself, from that day, I'm going to be free. I'm going to know the truth. Nobody will be able to lie to me or deceive me. I'm going to actually know the truth. When I tell you, what I'm talking about is from experience. I am not talking from book knowledge. I am not talking from academic knowledge. I'm talking from, I read the Bible. I did what it said to see if it was wrong. I wanted to prove it wrong, and it was right. It was right. So that's the reason that I don't believe in God. I experimented in proving God to myself. Through that journey, this is what I realized. I had to go on the journey for myself and suffer the pains of learning because I needed to know the truth. Not many people are at the point where they need to know the truth outside of this room. If y'all are in this room, you need to know the truth, because why would you be here? Go ahead, scroll on TikTok. You see, it's nothing there. It's nothing on TikTok to scroll through. Okay? You see it. They promote your cravings to you. Gossip, girls, and money. That's what they promote to you. So you would not be here unless you were done with that, sick of being manipulated, and realize, no, there is something deeper to this. That's why y'all here. It's no other way you can be here. So when I tell you the way that I went from my hell to my heaven, because man, I'm telling you, I feel so damn good. I'm trying to tell y'all. I wish I could it just exudes. You can feel it. I feel so damn good every day. I feel so good every day. I feel good. I'm so appreciative. I'm more appreciative every day. It feels incredible because I know there is a God, and that God is infinite intelligence and is also integrated with who I am. It's incredible to know that. And I remember being the person who I'm trying to prove God wrong, and here these believers over here happy-go-lucky, not knowing nothing. Don't know any science, never read an occult book, never read nothing. Okay? And they over here happy. I'm pissed off. They over here happy. And I'm mad because here they are getting everything they want. They're not smarter than me. They never read the books that I read. They don't know what I know, but yet they're happy. And they're creating what they want in their lives. And it's simple. They got a simple life. I'm like, I was mad. Because here I am trying to figure my life out. And here they are over here having fun, looking like they smiling all the time. I don't want to see no smiles. I want to smile. I want to feel good. That's where I was. And I couldn't get it because they understood and had something I didn't have. They grasped some perfect understanding, something that's just innate in us that don't require books to read. It came with them. It came with the system. The technology came inside of us. We came equipped with it. They intuitively caught that, and I couldn't. I had to go through intellect because I'm a skeptic. Remember, my mom Christian, my dad Muslim. I'm already skeptical. What you mean both of y'all are right? I'm already skeptical at 4 years old, 5 years old. How are both of y'all right? Okay, when I tell you, it's a few ways to get to the enlightenment state. One is through water. Water is what Christ came as infinite compassion. So people, you'll notice, people who have deeply compassionate hearts, they are awakened. If you know, you know. If you have a deeply compassionate, loving heart that overflows to the point where you can't even control it, you just love human beings and have deep, infinite compassion for them, you are awakened. And you see these people in the world and they are awakened. They never read the Bible. They never read the Bhagavad Gita. They never did none of the things that they tell you got to do. They just love people. Totally. They're awakened. That's water. The next path, which most of us have to take, especially in the West, you're going to have to go over the bridge of intellect to bridge the logical gap between hell and heaven. Because I'm going to tell you, the bridge between these two is called the logos, is logic, or the logos. Things have to make sense now. How many of y'all with me on this? How many of y'all with me on this? Understand this. The world we live in has so much information. We can't deny it anymore. Now, in the past, it used to be, well, you didn't have access to Google and Chat GPT. And I know you feel that. We didn't have access to that. But now that we got access to that, the collective consciousness doesn't just believe anymore. Mind you, we're moving into an age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius is air. Air is intellect. It's not an accident. So what's happening is the ability to just feel and believe blindly and create results is going down. Although it's a lot of people who still are just compassionate people who feel into the truth. This is true. But now with the rise of the internet, it's given a necessity to bridge the gap with logic. So this is the second path to enlightenment, to awakening. It needs to make sense. It actually needs to make sense. This is why you're here in this chat today. Because it's making sense. How many put sense in the chat if it's making sense? Somebody put sense in the chat if it's making sense. That's the reason that y'all are here. This is going to be the new type of teaching that locks in a DNA that can't be shaken. Because once you build a logical foundation, guess what? The water doesn't go away. Your deep compassion for people doesn't go away. Once you bridge the logical gap, not only is the compassion there, it amplifies. Because now your mind and your heart are in the same place. How many understanding me right here? I'm just getting the chills on my body right now. I'm literally getting the chills. How many people understanding this? So, in the past, it was heart only. This is where the water is. This is where the water is. So the water belongs to the heart. This is the water. This is the water. The brain, the mind, the logic belongs to the air. Understand this, y'all. These are becoming one. These are Is it back? Understand this. These are becoming one. This is where we're going. The evolution is we are evolving our logic finally. But here's the beautiful part about it. If you know, you know. The age of Aquarius, by the way, Aquarius is knowledge and knowing. The statement of Aquarius is I know. Knowing goes beyond the intellect and it reaches you in your deepest of your soul, your deepest soul consciousness. But the bridge is intellect. The bridge is intellect. We need spiritual institutions that make it sense, not just make emotions. We have evolved as a people, and we need something that makes sense, not just make emotion. How many agree with this? Ooh, yeah, I got the chills. I literally got the chills right now. I got the chills. I got goosebumps. Can y'all see this? The Bible is a book of mental science, y'all. It's a book of mental science. It shows you logically how things work. Every single name in the Bible has a numerical association and every letter has a meaning. It's called gematria. The language the Bible was written in is a spiritual language. The language of the West is the language of the West is a physically dominated language. It's a carnal language. It's a materialistic language. If you read it just in the English, you'll never get the spirit that was put into the book. If you only interpret this book as a story without breaking down the truth of the words, you can't extract the spirit it was written in. I agree. Our natural language is telepathy. And we getting there. Some of y'all might have experienced it with people y'all close to. You start reading it in Arabic, it's completely different, ain't it? It's totally different. So the reason that I'm going over this is I want you to realize what's happening. You are a part of this movement. Y'all being in the room, this is not belonging to any one of us individually. Notice, consciousness is leading us to this logic. Spirit is leading us to a more logical understanding of the scriptures that were written. Because scientists can't do it, if y'all notice. Scientists have been trying to figure out how the universe works for years. They can't do it. They get stopped by faith. They don't understand faith. They don't understand how is it that this lady with no background, no intelligence, no medicine, didn't go to school, doesn't really know anything, just healed her entire body. Must be an anomaly. The machine must have been wrong. Okay, maybe one time that's true, but you got it dozens of times. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases where people heal their body with no medicine because they said they believed. So you're just going to skip over that? That's because scientists only deal with what they can understand from their limited box point of view. Scientists are being outpaced by spiritual people and artists. Notice, when a society advances, artists come to the rise. Notice the rise of art and creatives. Just creatives. It may not be a lot of art out there because it's creative. It's more creative than it used to be. But we're going to move into a season of true art where the art reflects the nature of the cosmos and the nature of the human being and the nature of man. But what they're trying to do, a lot of people in the tech industry, in the business world, what they're trying to do is make us bionic beings. They're trying to inject us with nanobots. They're trying to take us and make us transhuman. They think that that's the advancement, that we put an AI in your head. We are the original intelligence, not artificial. We're the original intelligence, not artificial. I don't need a chip in me to enhance me. I enhance the chip. Don't we work on computer chips? Don't we work on computers and make them better? Don't we do that? So how is a computer going to work on me and make me better? It don't work that way. That's backwards. But they want us to be backwards. Quantum physics goes a pointed away, but here's what it doesn't do. It doesn't give you the direct experience of divine insight. That's where we're going. Once you understand the spiritual logic, because it is a spiritual logic. It's a spiritual logic that connects to the physical. And I'm about to break a little bit of it down. I think it's time. Let's do that. I'm going to leave this image. Or let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay? Here's what quantum physics cannot and does not account for. It does not account for God. It just can't. Because it has to stay in the realm of science. Okay? Spirit is the Spirit is the correlative of God. God can't be understood directly because we are God. But spirit, which is really an expression of God in energy, this can be perceived, apprehended by us, the human being. So we can experience spirit. Spirit moves on the face of what they call the waters. It's the psychological waters. Or the soul. Remember, water is the heart. So we're talking about the cosmic waters. So it's psychological waters, but it's cosmic waters. Okay? And what happens from there is there's an expression in the first expression of the physical into the ether. And that ether gives birth to suns and worlds and planets, etc. It gives birth to that until here it is. Because as a human, this is what we really are. It gives birth to mind and heart. And these are just organs of our higher nature. It gives birth finally to the most advanced beings in the universe. Because what happens is we get to be conduits for what this is. Here's what science can't comprehend. It understands that there's a quantum field. But guess where that is? The quantum field is right here. It's the 0 point field. So you can put 0 right here. It's the 0 point field. It's right here. It's where spirit and matter meet. All they know is that right here where something we don't know and the thing we do know meet, it's this infinite potentiality here. That's all they know. But what you do when you go inside of yourself for internal revelation, once you go into your heart, here's where you appear, y'all. This is you. This is us. This is you. You are that spirit. So the one who's looking through the microscope and the one who's looking through the eyes of experiments, they don't know that they are the spirit looking through it. They know that if we observe a particle, it becomes a particle, or we observe a wave or a photon or a quantum particle, it becomes a particle. And when we look away, it's a wave. They say, wow, we don't understand it. What they can't understand is the reason that's the case is because you're God. And whatever you're looking for collapses into a physical reality. Because it's who you are. They don't know that. They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea. So here it is. When you go inside of yourself and you start to activate yourself, because that's what you're activating, the beauty of life comes through that they can't understand or comprehend. You heal yourself in a way that can't be comprehended. You heal yourself in a way that can't be comprehended by science. They'll give an explanation. They'll say, oh, you activated a potential in the quantum field. You ask them, what is that? What's behind that? They go, no one knows. No, you don't know. This is what's behind it. I am. The name of God is I am. Look, y'all, the name of God is I am in the Bible. Why do you think it's named I am? Because I am is spirit, and spirit is us. A God is a I am. That's what a God is. God is a I am. By the way, who's the only answer this question? Who's the only person who can study you? Manifestation is cool. Once you're done with manifestation, you're ready to become who you really are. We're talking about the ascension. Exactly. See, y'all know. Who's the only person who can study you? You! Because guess what? If you studying anything that you can calculate or measure, that is in the physical realm, and it's not you, it's an expression of you. See, understand this. Now, you can use it to trace back the source, but understand, if it's anything we can debate, converse about, if it's anything we can measure, if it's anything we can put our hands on, or we can see that it's a wave pattern, or it's rays, or vibrate, any of that is physical. Anything measurable is physical. But once we penetrate beyond what's measurable, we enter a place where scientists can't go. Unless you're a spiritual scientist. And you have to be the experiment and the experimenter at the same time. That is what it is. It's a participatory thing. Why did God create the middleman known as spirit? That's a good question, actually. It's a good question. Spirit is actually just a response. It obeys the law that's placed in God. It's a co-respondence. Since God is and is aware that he is infinitely. And it's not a he, but just bear with me. That constitutes. That means by consequence, there has to be an expression. If there was no expression, we would now know that there is no God, but it would be nobody to know that. Okay? The fact that God is shown and seen by the fact that we are. It's the only way we would know that God exists is if we are. If we were not, then we would not even know what we didn't know. That makes sense. Does that make sense? Chris, listen, if you got a question, say the question, but you don't get up here and get on a soapbox and get to announce all of the things that you believe and interrupt the message for everybody else. So if you got a question, put the message in the chat. Okay? But does that make sense? All right, you about to get blocked. I already know it. Alicia's thinking it.
I'm being nice and giving it to you.
Like in Strong's, God is not a word. I don't understand what a God is. You don't have to. You can't understand what a God is. Here's why. This is why you can't understand what a God is. I put this dotted line here because there's no way to understand what a God is. Because you understand with your mind. You understand with your mind. So another word for this, you would just say, is mind. This is what you understand with. And all you can understand is what's out here. But you can't understand who you are. You just are who you are. That's God. God's name is I am. That's who God is. So you don't have to understand a God. Just work with your mind to express what God is. Okay? Thank you, babe. Is this considered pseudoscience? By some, it's considered pseudoscience. But guess who considers it to be pseudoscience? People who don't have the capability of penetrating within themselves and experiencing this. Because they want to stay in the realm that they can understand. See, when you stay in your safety zone, you say, oh, it's pseudoscience because why? Because I can't measure it. Only thing that's measurable, y'all, remember, is the physical. But where did the physical come from? It came from an invisible source. All scientists recognize a primal energy, a source energy that can't be created or destroyed, withdrawn from or moved into. That is, they call it energy. But what they neglect, and this is what the Bible says, it says, it's the stone that the builders rejected. It's actually you. You can't have this world without you. You are the I am that everybody's looking for. You are the God you're looking for. The one that you've been looking for your whole life is who you are. And one day you will experience that and nobody will be able to tell you any different. But scientists won't believe you because that's a subjective experience, meaning it has to be discarded as pseudoscience or just as experience or whatever you want to call it. That makes sense. Okay. How do we understand higher dimensions better? You understand higher dimensions by going within yourself and asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Because that is the infinite dimension. Dimensions exist outside and below who you are. The number associated with spirit is the number 1. The law of 1 says there's only one dimension. There's only one. But that one manifests in legions of dimensions. So if you want to go to the ultimate dimension, just go to who you are. Say, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And you have to do this. You cannot skip this part. You can't understand it with the mind. The only thing that the mind can understand is physical and thoughts that exist there, but it cannot understand beingness. You can understand this by being it, but you cannot understand God at all. It's who you are. Beyond your knowledge is who you are. Okay, I have a question. How do you explain people receiving the Holy Ghost in churches? Look, the truth is you don't know what they're experiencing, right? So people can say they can look like they're receiving the Holy Spirit, but the truth is we don't know what's going on inside of them. And I remember being young and I was looking around and there was people who was falling out and they would fall out and they put a cover over them. And I would see people who were crying and I would wonder what's going on inside of their brains, like what's happening. And I realized I can't really say what's going on in there. I can't judge a person's experience. I can see that she's crying, but I don't know why she's crying. She could be crying because she feels guilty and has felt a release. She could be crying because she feels emotionally connected. She could be crying because she's in bliss. I don't know why she's crying. I don't know why they're falling out. I don't know why when he touched his head, he fell out. Did he fall out because of peer pressure and don't want to just mess up the moment? Okay. Because that could very well be the case knowing human nature. But I don't know why he fell out. I know when they touched my head, I didn't fall out. I didn't feel anything. I felt emotions, but I didn't feel like I got blinded and fell out. I didn't feel that myself. So when it comes to Holy Spirit, you have to determine what that is by experiencing it yourself. And once you experience it, if you think you experienced it, well, guess what? You're the only one who knows the truth of what your experience is. Yeah, putting the oil on the head. I don't know. Maybe the oil, when it touched your head, you believed. Now, knowing how human consciousness works, if somebody put the oil on the head and I believe, well, a belief will create a response in my body because that's a thought. That's an actual powerful, potent energy that releases chemicals in the body and allows different transformative experiences to happen. That's true. So the belief could absolutely do that. But did the oil do it? Well, let's put that same oil on my head. See if it happened to me. It doesn't. It's not the oil. See, this is how to discern and ask questions about what's going on. You got to ask the questions. Can you explain the God equals I am, you? It's not able to be explained, but I'll do my best. First, God's name in the Bible is I am. When Moses, who really means to come forth, it just means when your consciousness comes out. When your consciousness comes out of this physical belief that it's a physical being and it realizes who it is at a higher level. The only thing that exists is who you are. Now, I can explain it this way. Before there was any physical thing, any planets, any stars, any star dust, any vibrations, any particles, any helium, anything. Before all of that, what existed? Try to answer that question, and it's able to be answered. What existed? That's a good question.
Wants to know what religion.
I saw that. That's such a hard question. Energy, electricity, frequency. Let's break these down a little bit, okay? So if we say electricity needs, in order for there to be electricity needs, it has to be in a form. For us to have electricity, it has to be. So I'm saying before there was anything, energy even. So before we can say energy is possible, but before the energy wasn't expressed in the universe yet. So before that energy was expressed into the universe, what was there? The invisible world, that's a good one. Frequency, in order for there to be frequency, there has to be a wave pattern. If there's a wave pattern, then there's a physical something that can be measured. Electricity can be measured, which means it has to be a form, physical, some form. So that couldn't be the case. Somebody say potential. That's a really good one. Light also is in wave form. So in order for light is in a wave form, then that means that it's a wave. That means that it's measurable, meaning that it has to be physical. There we go. John said it's nothing, but let's take it a step. John said it. He said nothing, but let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Before there was anything, we can't say something came from nothing necessarily, but we can say something came from no thing. It's not nothing, but it's not a thing. That sound like some poetry, spooky. Ooh. Just think about it. It came from not a thing. Okay, what's not a thing? To be equals not a thing. It's no thing. Be. That's it at the end of the day. There is no way to get around that. Another word for be, and there's no context to the word, is. Be is. Now, check this out. You say awareness. That's so wise of you to say. Because think about this. Close your eyes and go back to when there was no thing. Who's there? Who's there looking at no thing? Who's there witnessing no thing? Who's there contemplating no thing? Who? I am. So who was there in the beginning? Who was there in the beginning? It's not a body, exactly. It's no body, but I am there. This is what it was. This is what had to be. And you just saw that from your direct experience. Now, by the way, I can't get you to do that unless I did that. Everybody, when you actually go back there and you looking, because think about it, you close your eyes and you there. There's no thing. Who's there? The only thing that's there is I am. I am. Not I am there because there's no space yet. I am. Truthfully. That's it. That's why God's name is I am. I hope that answered your question. I hope that answered your question. Because that's it.
What religion are you?
What religion are you? I have no idea. I have no idea. What religion am I? Have no idea. I would consider myself to be a Christian. Because this is the teaching of Christianity. Truthfully. But that would mean we all Christians, whether we want to be or not. If this is God, I am that. That means that. But every religion is the same. In the truth. I'm happy you did the exercise. Because once you do it, you can't undo it. It's like, I was there. Because I witnessed it.
Right.
Like, I was there. So it's the only thing that can be conceived of. You can't conceive of anything else. Using your consciousness, we can't conceive anything else existing except I am. It's the only conception we can even come up with. And I want you to think of something else, okay? Here another thing. I want you to ask yourself. Can you conceive of anything outside? Can you conceive of anything outside of... Can you consider anything outside of your imagination that could create a universe? I want you to think about this. Can you conceive of anything that is capable outside of your imagination that is able to create a universe? There's nothing you could think of, which is why the first movement was on the face of the waters. And what is the waters? The water is really mind or imagination. That's another word. There is nothing that could be conceived of as being able to create a cosmos except imagination. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The I that is great, that is lesser than this one, is the I that is something. The I that is not a thing is greater because it's greater in potential than the I that is a thing. But they're both the same I. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions before we get off here? Hey, if you want this live, put yes in the chat. We're going to send you. You got to respond to Alicia.
It's almost like it doesn't work last time.
It didn't work last time?
No, nobody listened to what you said and followed back, so it didn't really work. So you're just going to have to find... Because me messaging everybody is a bit much.
All right. Well, look. Alicia says she ain't messaging everybody. Y'all got to message us. You got to text us. Message us. DM me if you actually want that. How to create your desired reality. Do you have a YouTube? We do. I just posted a video too. It's actually in my bio. If you click it, my YouTube link is up there. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Telepathy fit into God's spirit. I need to record a lot of these. Voodoo, Christianity. So a lot of this is the deal. Okay. A lot of the religions, when it comes to voodoo, all they're doing is using the mind. This is the only ingredient you can use. Whatever ritual, whatever movements, whatever dances, whatever you do externally is only to get your imagination to a certain state. Yeah, I'll post this. If you want the, I can post this, by the way. I'll post this live on YouTube. The imagination, okay? The imagination is the only ingredient you can use to create anything. It's the source of everything. Exactly. The YouTube, what is the YouTube? Let me look it up. I think so, but let me double check on it. Because I think that's right. The YouTube name is, and we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers too, so come on. Yeah, it's The Joshua Livingston. It's The Joshua Livingston. Can y'all see that? Boom. I'm going to answer all these questions in the chat, in our group. I'm going to answer all the questions, or in a video at least. I need to go back and look at all these. I should have been recording this the whole time. Okay. I'm literally recording all of these, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to answer these one by one. I'm going to answer these one by one. Man, y'all are y'all the best group I done had on here, for real. Y'all are insightful. Y'all are asking questions you really are seeking too. Yeah. That's why I appreciate y'all. All right, I'm following y'all back too. Following you back. Made in God's image, I'm gonna definitely address that one. Made in God's image, I'm gonna definitely address that. Made in imagination, that's a perfect way to say it. Okay, if y'all subscribe to the YouTube, that's probably the best place, because I'm gonna be posting there regularly, and I'm gonna be posting these lives there. So probably the best place to go is there. Where does telepathy fit into the God model? Just think mind to mind. It's only one mind. That's a good question, though. So this is imagination. This is the last one I'm going to do. This imagination. The imagination manifests as your individual soul, but it's still made of imagination. And here I am, manifested as my individual soul, but I'm also made of imagination. So if I think a thought, the thought is thought in imagination. Even though it's in my head, it's in imagination. So that thought is available to you because we all connected through imagination. And it's instant. There is no distance between this and this in imagination. Imagination is simultaneously everywhere at once. So if I think a thought here, it's available here. The only difference is if you can pick up my thought or not. Is if you're on frequency 9 and I'm on frequency 9 and I think a thought, you're gonna get it instantly. Okay? If I'm on frequency 2 and you're on frequency 9, I'm thinking the thought is available to you, but you're not tuned into it, you won't hear it. But it's still there. Exactly. Same wavelength. Exactly. That makes sense? That's how it works. Whatever frequency I'm on determines who hearing my thoughts. You're hearing everybody's thoughts of the frequency you're on. Now, most people are on a frequency of fear. So if you're on the frequency of fear, you got a lot of rushing thoughts coming through your head. But if you're on the frequency of peace, it's so wide open. Think about that. It's wide open. Look, y'all follow each other in here too, because if you following anybody, y'all should be following each other in here. Just think about it. Where y'all gonna find people thinking about? Look at TikTok. Go ahead, scroll through the lives on TikTok. I done it. Thank you for the love, yo. Scroll on the lives on TikTok. It's nothing going on. It's only gossip, girls, and money. Just shallow materialism. That's the only thing going on TikTok, on the lives. Y'all going to follow Wave? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. AM versus FM, exactly. Exactly. There's nothing going on. That's why when I come on here, it's like we just dominate the market on here because nobody really talking about anything. Especially not this. Especially not this. This is the only topic in my brain. I don't think about nothing else. I do think about other things. Yes, I do. But barely.
Barely.
Not barely. Y'all hear Alicia? She just got on me though. She's talking about barely. I said barely already.
I'm staying extra barely.
Sometimes I play Candy Crush. Sometimes I play the volleyball game. Okay. But mostly I'm thinking about this. Mostly. Like the vast majority of the time. Man. Made in God's image. And that's an easy one. God's image is not an image. It is. You is. That's the only way to say it. And the rest is history. You are made like this. As I am this, just like God is. The rest of it is history. That's it. When you say I am, that's God. Not when you say I am James, I am hungry, I am starving, I am the best. That's not who you are. That's an attachment to who you are. An extension. You can extend anything too. Thomas Troward gave it the best. He said it the best. If I got a broomstick, and it's a broom because there's a broom attached to the bottom of the stick. But if I unscrew the broom head and I plug in a mop head, same stick, but it's a mop now. The stick is I am. The mop head, the broom head, or whatever that is over there, is whatever you think about yourself. So it's just an extension. So based on what you calling yourself determines what shows up in your world. But you still I am. That never changes. Yeah, Troward is the man. If y'all didn't know, listen. By the way, I broke the book. I destroyed it. Collected Works of Thomas Troward. All right. I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day. I'm bouncing.